All right, guys, we are live right now. Let's go. Let's hit the share button, guys. Welcome on Let's Talk Show for our challenges. It is time. It is time, guys. 24 seconds gone. Let's hit our share button, guys. Welcome on Let's Talk Show for our challenges. Welcome. If you are here, please kindly share as well as you can while we wait for the guests in the house for today. The show is going to be massive. Thank you for joining. Please help us share while we wait for our guests in the house. Help us share while we wait for our guests in the house. To join. I'm trying to invite him now. Welcome on Let's Talk Show and Foreign Challengers. Today is going to be massive. Yes, today is going to be massive. I repeat, all we need to do is to share. Share the link, guys. Share the live to your family and friends. Don't forget to share massively while we wait for our guests in the house. It's about 50 seconds. We started. Thank you for the love. Thank you. Please, you can pump some love while I shout out some names. Welcome on Let's Talk Show today on Foreign Challengers. We are here because you are there. And you are here because we are here. Thank you for joining. Please help us to share. Share the video massively. The live broadcast today is for us. It's for our community. It's for our collective effort. And you see the t-shirt I'm putting today. Oh, the guest in the house is here already. All right, let me invite our guest in the house. Welcome, Prissy. I just sent you an invite. Welcome, Reglago. Welcome, Prissy. President, I just sent you an invite. You can add. It's depending. If you haven't seen it, you can comment, please. Welcome, guys. On Let's Talk Show on Foreign Challengers. We are here because you are there, and you are there because we are here. We are trying to build a positive and massive community for the interest of everybody, non-exclusive. Welcome, guys. Welcome, guys. On Let's Talk Show on Foreign Challengers. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Not saying it's still pending. The invite is still pending. Oh, the invite is still pending. Okay, it has gone off. Let me add it again. Not seen. Okay. Simon wants to join. Okay, let me accept you. Okay, I just sent the invite. Welcome, guys. Have you seen it? It's showing that I just sent the invite now. Oh, technical issues. Welcome, guys, on Power Challengers. The president is about to join. Can you comment as many times as possible? Maybe the more you comment, the more it will be able to be accessible. Welcome, guys, on Let's Talk Show on Power Challengers. We are waiting for the president. He's about to join. We just sent him an invite, and we are waiting for him to accept the invitation. Still pending. Welcome, 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 Daim in the building. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, Daim in the building. Welcome, Cadet in the building. Let me still send the request again. Please, Mr. President, you can comment as many times as possible. I think with that, it will be able for me to, it will be easy for you to see the ad because the ad is pending. It shows that pending, which means Let's Talk Show. It's a show for us, a show for the community. If your Facebook can be added, can you try another person's Facebook? Let's see if it can go. Okay, so let me cancel this one and you send a request. Okay, I've canceled already. It has canceled itself. So you send the request now. Let's see. Share, guys. Share, guys. Share. Let's share. Let's share massively for others to join. Let's share massively for others to join. The vision for today is for us all. Thank you, Regular Good, for the comments. From some love, guys. From some love. While I do this sharing, and we wait for the president. Have you sent the request, Mr. President? Welcome. Eric Don in the building. Welcome, guys. Thank you for the support. It's massive. Today, the t-shirt I'm wearing is vampire t-shirt because today they are premiering the movie back home in Cameroon. So if you are in Cameroon, please go to Silicon Hotel and enjoy the Vampire House movie premiere. I've sent a request. Where is the request? The Vampire House movie premiere. I can't see the request. I can't see. So there's something wrong somewhere. Mr. President, can you check your mobile setting, your Facebook setting, if it's on personal or if it's on private or it's on public? Because maybe it's on private, so that is why you can see the video. You can change the setting from private to public. Because at my end here, it's okay for me to add you, but I don't know why you can be added. Is anyone around, Mr. President? I think the person can help with his or her Facebook. Mr. President has sent a request, and the request hasn't been seen. Guys, social media wizards, what can we do with this situation? Please pump in your suggestions. Pump in your suggestions. Pump in your suggestions. Pump in your suggestions. What can we do with this situation? Welcome. Okay, I think I can add Alia Efange, right? Okay, I've added Alia Efange. Let's see if the situation is still the same. Suggestions. Welcome, Mr. President, in the building. What happened with your Facebook? Your suggestions.
All right, let me see if I can adjust the settings, because this one I'm using my daughter's tablet.
Yeah. I think if you adjust the setting of your Facebook, it will be okay.
Yeah, my settings were pretty okay just until now. I mean, last time I did a live on the launching of Beyond the Womb.
Yeah.
I did join using my phone, so I don't know what happened. Something happened.
And the truth is that my Facebook cannot comment on your Facebook. It shows
Really?
that the comment section, yeah, the comment section is blocked. I forgot to tell you when we discussed some hours ago. I went to comment on your Facebook, but I couldn't comment. So maybe your comment section is either restricted or so. So you have to adjust the setting of your Facebook.
Okay, pretty much. I guess that has to be done. You know, with technology these days, it's pretty crazy.
I'm telling you. Welcome on board, Mr. President.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on your platform, Mr. Ito, and I'm happy to be here today, this evening. It's been long awaited.
We have been waiting for you for so. You were supposed to be the first guest on Let's Talk Show.
Yes, but that time it was just one of those moments where I was busy as crazy.
Wow.
But finally I made it here.
Finally you are here. They say it's never too late.
It's never too late. That you're correct. It is never too late. It's always good to be late than never.
Yeah, always good to be late than never. Okay, please let's share. Mr. President is in the building already. Please, Mr. President, I hope the phone is the tablet is being charged.
Yes. No, it's good. It's good to go.
All right, okay. Am my sound, my volume okay?
Yep, I can get you 5 on 5. I get you clearly.
All right, audience in the building, please, if my volume is okay, just say yes so that we can start with the program. Audience in the building, if my volume is okay, if our sounds are okay, just say yes so that we can comment the program. Is the volume okay? Welcome, Blandine in the building. All right, we move. Okay, Reclago says we move, then the volume is okay. Please, let's share. Mr. President is here already. So, and we know he's a busy man, and we can't keep him waiting for long. Everything perfect. Okay, Mr. President, are you ready to go?
I am ready as to be.
All right, please introduce yourself for us so that we can start with the program.
Wow. Where do I start? Well, first and foremost, my name is Simon Afange, and I am from the southwest region of Cameroon. Particularly, I'm a Bakwarian, hailing from the foot of Mount Fako. Um, I am 42, currently moving to 43 very soon. Um, I I have lived, I have traveled around the world quite a bit. Um, I started in Cameroon, then I moved to the US where I went to school there, um, got my high school diploma, was about to go to college, then went back to Cameroon, did my university at the University of Boya, where I studied biochemistry and I minored in chemistry. And later on, I moved to Thailand, where presently I am at the moment. Um, I'm married. I've got a daughter who is 12 years old. And pretty much that's me to start off with.
Wow, that's a brief and great introduction from our leader, the president of Cameroonian Community in Thailand. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
So I will be calling you Prof. Efange or Presi.
Any can go.
All right. So Presi, can you give us a brief insight of your stay in Thailand?
Well, Thailand has generally evolved throughout the years that I've been in Thailand. Thailand has generally evolved. I have witnessed the evolution of Thailand from when you were the only black person walking on the streets and cars would stop and people would roll down their side windows to take pictures of you because you were walking under the hot sun, which was like the most craziest thing ever people could see, to the point where you go to a school, they ask you what is the color of your pee, and and sometimes I tell them that it's green, just to get a laugh out of it. Um, to the point where they ask you, do you have houses in Africa or do you live on trees? Um, that's Thailand back in those days where no one understood a single word of English. Um, movement around was pretty difficult. Uh, you go to a school and kids will literally come up to you and take a piece of toilet tissue paper and rub it against your skin to see probably if color is going to come out. That's Thailand about 16 years ago to Thailand now where it's a bit open to foreigners, especially to Africans. And I have seen Thailand grown from a developing country to a continuously developing country. And I've seen people come and go. And the way Thailand is at the moment, I think it's at a pretty good place where we could enjoy the fruits of the labors that we have put forth down in Thailand.
Wow, wow. When you look at the situation now, before you said people were looking at your skin, if it will peel off, and then they will ask you the color of your urine. Then how did you people manage? How did you manage to get a job?
You see, that's the thing. Back then, back then it was very difficult to see a person of color. I'll use that word, a person of color, teaching. You know, we will mostly go to language centers that will struggle to get us. I remember once uh, taking a bus from Bangkok to Udon Thani. I still remember the name of the school, Udon Pit. And it was a mission school. It was a Catholic school. Given the fact that I was a Catholic teacher back home in Cameroon, working with a Catholic mission, I was so happy, seeing a Catholic school. But as we were walking up to the gate man went and shut the gate in front of us and literally told us, he pointed at his skin and he said this, he said, no, 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 no. And we stood outside the gates. Were three of us. And to make things worse, the weather changed and it started raining. And we were all dressed with tie and holding folders under the rain trying to look for shelter. And these people would not even open the gate for us just to get shelter for the rain to die down. You know, um, getting a job means at that time you had to go in for the least minimum wage at that particular time. That's what it meant by getting a job. And the school that will employ you will tell you they are doing you a favor, you know, and giving you the least minimum wage. So um, that's how Thailand was back then, because they were not opened to people of our kind. So mostly Bangkok was a little okay because it's like the hub. But for example, when I moved to Nakhon Ratchasima, the northeast, which is popularly known as Korat, I was the third person of color to be in that province. So we were always an attraction wherever we went. You know, people would literally stop their cars and take a picture of you because you're walking under the sun with a folder and putting on a tie and a white shirt because you're going to look for job. Oh my God. So getting a job back then, it was pretty difficult because you had to prove your worth. I mean, you could get a job today. The next day, a white person walks into the school and they literally tell you that, oh, was sorry, you're fired. And they
Really?
don't care whether this person has a degree or not, provided they were white and they have a native passport, that was it. So we were literally going against the odds.
So when we look at getting a job was quite difficult, and what about your stay?
um Now, I'm gonna tell you my story. My story, for example. Now, when I was coming to Thailand, the guy who did my documents, he took 2 million CFA from me,
Back then?
and yes, back then he took 2 million CFA. That was not including air ticket. He said it's just for the visa.
Hmm?
And after, because I was pretty much well to do back home in Cameroon, I was dean at a Catholic secondary school and I was a chemistry teacher. I had an office, I had a secretary, so I was pretty much good. I was planning on going to South Africa and do a master's degree, but this guy came up and said, oh, there is an opportunity in Thailand. So my late mom said, I should go in for it. He collected that amount of money. 1 month passed, 2 months passed, 3 months passed, 4 months passed. We never heard anything from this guy. So I had already given up, and I started to put my head towards South Africa to do my master's degree. Then one day I just get this call, and he's like, "Oh, you're traveling on the over the weekend." I'm like, "Excuse me?" He said, "Yes, your visa is ready. You're traveling over the weekend." So we had to cough off most of my savings that I have. We just use it to buy a ticket. Back then, a ticket was almost about 1.2 million CFA to get to Thailand for a round trip on a tourist visa. So I started having a problem from the airport, where the lady asked me, "Mon frère, tu es français?" I was like, "Non, je suis un anglophone." She said, "Mais tu as fait comment pour lui ton visa à Lyon?" And I was like, she she said I should explain to her how I managed to get a visa from Lyon in France if I never went to France. And that's where my predicament started. And then, you have to give her own cut of the deal, to be able to go through. So this guy had told me that there was already a job here in Thailand waiting for me. I'm a science teacher. Bam, everything's going to be good. Somebody's going to pick me up at the airport. So I boarded that flight, arrived in Thailand at about 11 a.m. in the morning. The number that I was given to call wasn't going through. Called that number. All the people that were there tried the number. It wasn't even registered. I was at the airport from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. in the night. I was still at the airport. Didn't know what to do. People don't speak English. Anybody you approach, "Oh, no, 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 no speak, no speak." And then I noticed that the security at the airport had started looking at me in a funny kind of way, like this guy has been around for a really long time. So I packed my stuff and I went outside the airport, and I stood where the taxis are, where the taxis just come to drop off people. And then I was just pretending as if I'm trying to grab a taxi, but I had no clue of what I was doing. Then all of a sudden, I saw a taxi pulled up, and this person of color came out, and then I just sneakily walked closely to the taxi, and I heard he was speaking pidgin English. So when he finished on his phone, I just went up to him and I started talking to him. And he said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, no one came to pick me up." So he said he is coming to pick someone up. I should just wait for him. He went, he picked up the person that he came to pick up, and he put me inside a taxi along with him and took me to some guy's home on Ramkahen Road and just left us there and says, "This is what I can do for you." So I was so tired. I was in somebody's condo, didn't know the person, and this person just came and saw two people sleeping on his bed. Didn't even know who the heck these people were. You see, that's the Thailand back then. No questions were asked. The only thing he said was, "You guys are welcome. We're just going to share the little that we have, and we're going to share the sleeping schedule. Today, two people will sleep on the bed, one person sleeps on the floor. Tomorrow, and that's how we were rotating. You know." No questions asked. He just knew. You see, that's the thing. The unity and solidarity back then was more than what I see today. Because there is no way in this modern Thailand today you just see somebody sleeping on your bed and you let them sleep. The first thing is you're gonna be like, "How the hell did you get into my house?" So that's how life was. Obviously, obviously we came at the wrong time, and I went for like 6 months without having a job. I did a lot of visa extensions because back then all the borders were open. I went to Cambodia as many times as possible. And when I went to Cambodia, that's when I discovered that Cameroonians are actually wicked, because back then, tourist visa for Thailand was free. And this guy collected me 2 million because I went to Cambodia.
Wait, it come again? Tourist visa was what? Free.
Was free. Free. Yes. Tourist visa for Thailand was free because there was a scandal that happened. That when, I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, there was a scandal and some images that were passing over TV that Thais were actually eating blacks. They will kill them and eat them, you know. So it has destroyed the reputation of Thailand. So the prime minister back then, taxing what he wanted to do was to rebuild the trust that people had in Thailand. So tourist visa for Thailand was free. You don't pay a single dime. I went to Cambodia my first time. They told me, if you want a free visa, you can drop your passport off, pick it up tomorrow in the morning. But if you want it at the spot, you pay $20 and we give you the visa. That's when I discovered that so many agents in Cameroon were coming to Cambodia to take free tourist visas and then taking huge sums of money from people from Cameroon. And some of them will take you if they feel a bit like, okay, I don't want to take that much, they will get you a Cambodian visa. Then when you get to Cambodia, you go to the Thai embassy, you get a free tourist visa, and you cross, you come across the border. So that's how life was. Life was pretty okay for us black people. I remember when I had 2 days left on my visa, I was sitting at a junction called Lam Sali here in Bangkok. And a tourist police came up to me and he said, "Where are you from?" I said, "Cameroon." He said, "Oh, Mila Roger, Mila Roger." Everybody knew Mila Roger at that time. Then he said, "Passport." I gave him my passport. He said, "Do you know that you have 2 days on your visa left?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Okay, you go to Cambodian embassy, take Cambodian visa, go to Cambodia, take Thai visa, come back to Thailand now." I had no clue what he was saying. He took me on his scooter and showed me the Cambodian embassy. And like, this sounds really crazy. I had no money with me. He paid for my Cambodian visa, 1,000 Thai baht. This was a traffic police. And then he gave me 1,000 baht. And then he wrote in Thai that in the morning, give this to a taxi man. They will know where to take you to so that you can go to Cambodia. That's how I made my first trip to Cambodia. Came back, I never saw that guy. Stood at that place so many times. Back then, the tourist police was there to help you because we were not so many, and people had not started committing all types of atrocities. The tourist police was actually there to help you. So for 6 months, I did visa runs, to Cambodia. And it was very easy. You just go to the Cambodian border at times and they stamp you the visa, the Cambodian visa, and you enter Cambodia. It was 600 baht. You guys are choked up in a Lexus because Cambodia at that time, they were mostly using their private cars for taxis. Take you downtown Phnom Penh. You go checking into a hotel, they use the dollars, not because the Cambodian currency, it's so inflated. They don't even use their own currencies. At the border, they will use the Thai baht, but in Cambodia itself, the capital city, they were using the US dollars. You get a hotel for $199. You drop off your passport at the embassy. You sleep. The next day by 4 p.m., you go pick up your passport with a Thai visa and you're back to Thailand. That's how it was. As easy as ABC, you know. And then until I got my first job. My first job, actually, my first job, the guy said
we are
he was doing me a
coming to
favor.
that. Hi, your story is so touching.
That was Thailand back then. That was Thailand back then. Oh, and another thing is when I came, I don't know if I should be saying this, but I'm going to put it in our local language.
Yes.
When I came, the people the way they receive me, they tell me, say, my man, that thing where you get and say you study biochemistry, that one for you will not know more. For you, you must go cut the king. They say carry that thing, go keep on for one corner. If you carry that one go, for say you go find work, they go instead you say that one a fake. So that's why I say orientation is very important. So these men they take me though, they go cut me this thing for long. They called me plus masters as the year. So me as she done, I look this document. So I say, you get masters, then what you can't do for the pay. You get master for pay, you did final. The first place where I go drop that document off, that guy look me so. He say, I say, my man, all man for your country get master's degree. Just that just that talk alone, so I withdraw all my document. I tell you, no, I no one below again. I withdraw all my document. I come back, I can't sit down for house. My head no kick. Now some grand frère, he can tell me, say, go, you go Lewa. I say yes. He say, you study narrative. I say, I study biochemistry. He said, then you guys are the ones that are way better off in this country because you can teach anything. You can teach English, you can teach science, you can teach whatsoever. So take that in there, go born out after they tell you so. For that grand frère fund, I born that in there. So whether mean they take me 8,000.
8,000 back in those days.
Yes. For make that thing. Then that grand frère tell me, say, follow me. I will go show you place to go. Use the idea. Use so. Now una get this country so they find out people like una. Now so. So orientation is very important. The people who pick you up on the first day, the way they orient you, it's what determines your life and your future in Thailand. If you were wrongly oriented, then definitely you're gone.
So after all the struggles and you had to pick up a job, now let's talk about how did you move from the tourist visa now to non-B and so on. Did you go
Yes.
outside again?
Yes, when I picked up my first job, it was at a technical college that also had a university in it. So this guy owned a university and a technical college all in the same campus. And I was responsible for teaching English at the technical college, at the university, and the after school program for 7,500 baht. That was my first job. And he told me that's the minimum that they pay for Thai. So for me, I should even be happy that he's giving me the same salary as a Thai. And that was my first job. I was teaching from Monday to Sunday because Monday to Friday I'm teaching at the university and at the technical college. Saturday and Sunday it's for those who are working, those people who are doing business in English. I have to teach them from 7 in the morning till 9 p.m. in the night every Saturday and Sunday. And then the worst part is that most of them had cars. At that point, where that university and college was, it was a bit in the outskirts of Nakhon Ratchasima, where at that point it wasn't really developed with street lights. So after finishing teaching at 9 p.m., I have to walk a distance of about 10 kilometers in the dark, just using the light from cars passing through to go back home. Nobody will pick you up. Nobody will carry you in their car. Then I will get to a nearby city where now I can take a motorbike to bring me into the city where I was living. Mind you, I have to be up by 5 a.m. every morning to be able to catch the Songtao. If not, I will be late that day and they will deduct it from my salary. And I have to walk all that distance to get there. And these were the people that made my first documents to go change my non-B visa in Cambodia. So they made those documents. I paid for the trip, went, changed my visa to a non-B visa, came back and continued working with them. I asked for a salary increase and I had a 50 baht increase. So it went now to 750. So it was one of those situations where, oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I get you.
Yes. So I asked for a salary increase and I had an increment of 50 baht. So I went now to 7,750. That's how my salary was increasing. So and you know, the fun is, till today, that is still the visa I am using from that school. I've never gone out for a visa run. I've never left the country for a visa run. Till date, that's still the same visa I am using. The same non-B that I got from Cambodia. So that was life back then. That's how life was. Things have really, really changed ever since, for the better, actually. And that is Thailand for you. Yeah.
I'm sorry, my volume is not quite the best. Let me try to adjust it.
Oh, I hear you 5 on 5.
Can you get me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you very clearly.
All right, okay, right on. I think I had an incoming call, so it had to stabilize my own volume.
Okay. Yeah. So ever since I changed for my non-B visa, that's the same non-B I'm using till date. I've never gone out for a visa run. I just keep extending that visa. Even when I go to a school and they tell me that, oh, when I wanted to leave the school I was working at, the first school where I was working at, they said they were going to cancel my visa, and I looked at them and I said, I'm sorry, you can't do that. You gave me documents for the visa, but you didn't pay for the visa, so you can't cancel my visa. I made that trip myself, and that's how they let me go. And then I got another job. And the way I got my second job, it's the most craziest way ever. It was through an agency. This agency saw my documents and said she has a school that is looking for a science teacher. I should go and try my luck. We went for that interview, and that interview, there were 14 of us. 2 Filipinos, all the rest were whites. I was the only black. So when They were doing the interview one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. When it was my turn, I walked into the interview room and I looked at the wall. When I looked at the wall, I noticed that there was a slogan that was written on the wall, and the grammar was totally wrong. So the first thing I pointed out to them was that is wrong. You need to correct that. And the HOD looked at me. She said, nobody has ever told them that is wrong. I said, yes, the grammar is totally wrong. Then she looked at me. She said, you're from Cameroon. I said, yes. And that's it. She just told me, when can you start? And that was it. She said, I would like you to teach chemistry for high school. I was like, oh, okay. And when I came out, my agent was so cross because I didn't take like 3 minutes, not even up to 3 minutes. You must have messed up somewhere else. I said, no, I got the job. She's like, what? You got the job? I'm like, yeah. I started on May 1st. She's like, what did you do? I'm like, I just told them that the sentence on the wall was wrong. The English was wrong. And the HOD said what she liked in me was that so many native speakers has walked in there and no one took note. And that has been there for over 10 years. Nobody has ever told them that is wrong. So I signed a contract with the agency. I signed a contract with the agency, and the agency was playing down on me. The school was paying me 30,000 through the agency. The agency was giving me 19,000 because they say they are cutting. The agency told me the school is paying me 20,000 and I'm paying 1,000 for tax. But the school was paying me 30,000. So the agency was ripping me off 11,000 every single month. And I was teaching, this was a school of over 5,000 students. And I was teaching Mathium 1 to Mathium 6. And you have Mathium 1/1 all the way to 1/23. And you had Mathium 6, 1/1. And all of these classes I had to teach. I had to do English camp for these classes. And I had to teach chemistry on top of that. So one day we were at an English camp and I just told the director that I was just feeling down. So the vice director came and met me and said, Simon, what's the problem? I said, I feel like I'm working too much for so less. She's like, but we're paying you 30,000. I said, no, you're paying me 19,000. She said, excuse me? So she called the other vice directors around and she said, I should say what I just told her. I said, yeah, you pay me 19,000 because you are deducting my tax. It's 20,000. She was so freaked out and she was so mad. So they had a meeting the next day and they told me that they want to stop from working with the agent. They want to give me a direct contract. And I was happy that once as my contract ends, they will cut off the agency and they will give me a direct contract. So I was happy. But my agency was making me work during the weekends at her language center, which is indirectly working for the money that I've already worked for. So I was working twice for my money. You know, I was teaching creative writing to university students how to write their thesis. I was teaching English for communication. I was teaching science during the weekends, every Saturday and Sunday from 8 o'clock till 6 p.m. And then on Monday, I go and teach again. So she came and told me that, oh, the school is so happy with you. They are going to renew your contract and they have decided to increase your salary to 22,000. She never knew I had already signed a contract directly with the school. So when I was looking at her, I was like, oh my God, you must think I am so stupid. So the day she came to the school and the school told her that we are sorry, we have already signed a direct contract with the teacher. We don't want to work with you anymore. She called my phone and she told me to get out of class and come to our office at that moment. I told her that I'm sorry, I have to finish class first. When I went in there, she said she's going to make my life a living hell in this country. We went to court. We actually went to court. She took the school to court that the school actually poached. The English word is poached, which means going behind someone's back, you know, to take them away from their agency. So she sued the school that the school poached her teacher and they have no right to do that. We went to court, but the only problem that she had was that she could not prove that I was her teacher because the documents that was given for my visa carried the school name. My work permit carried the school name, not the name of the agency. And that's how she lost that case. And she told me, I am going to make your life a living hell in this country. I am Thai. That's what she told me. And then she left. But, you know, life being what it is, I'm still here today, and I.
Percy, you have a
Yes.
story to talk. I think para challengers will use you for their first documentary. There is a lot for you to tell us. Hi, man, you did talk at the sweat. So
That is Thailand.
in all of this, there is a lesson learned, and you have a lesson to tell us. So, what is the lesson behind this your story to us and those that are just coming in now?
Yeah. The the lesson is that you need to know where you're coming from, and you need to know where you're going to. Now, let me make this even more spicier. That same school that I was working at, they were paying me 30,000 baht. When they got a new director, he came and he said, a black man cannot be earning the same money as a white man. So they reduced 5,000 baht for my salary and they added it to the British guy that was there so that he will be taking 35,000 and I was taking 25,000. I said, I have no problem, provided I get my money at the end of the day. So they were actually confused. Like, what kind of person is this? And the HOD came and met me and said, are you sure you are okay with this? I told her that at the end of the month, I get money to feed myself and send to my family back home. I have no problem. So that went on for 2 years. Later on, one of the vice director, she said, no, everybody needs to be treated equal. If he is getting 35, they are doing the same job, and even he is doing even more. So he is going to get the same salary like the British guy. And then my salary was bumped from 25 to 35. I still remain calm, cool. I was like, thank you so much. And then a new director came and he said,
Wow.
this is a school of over 5,000 students and you have 2 foreign teachers. That's impossible. You are killing them. So they needed to employ more foreign teachers. So this British guy had been in that school way longer than I have been. But they came to me and they told me that We want to expand on the foreign language department, and we want you to be the head of foreign teachers in this school, which means you are going to be conducting the interviews, you are going to select who would be suitable for this position, and so on. And before I realized, I was climbing the ladder. I was climbing the ladder. And this British guy was not happy because he thinks that it was supposed to be him because he has been there longer than I have been, you know. And before I realized, I had over 14 foreign teachers that were under my control. I would prepare their documents for visa. I would do the interview. I would post the ads. I treated everybody equally. If you are qualified, you get the job. If you are not qualified, I saw people from Cameroon that came and they tell me say they get teacher's license. I said, no man, Cameroon get teacher's license. But they didn't know that I was from Cameroon, you know. So I worked there, and at some point in time, I was bumped up to head of HR, and I had my own desk in the administrative office, you know. Whenever people would come, they were surprised to see a black man in an administrative position at one of the biggest government schools in Nakhon Ratchasima, you know. At the area office, I was known. I walk in there and I walk out and they do my documents. It came to a point where I decide when to make my own contract. I make my own contract myself. I sign it and I take it straight to the director. He just signs and that's it. That's how I started growing at that school. And then I decided to take up a master's degree, you know, to further my education, you know, so that I can climb the ranks, I can climb the ladder. But we remind you, this is the same school that reduced my salary by 5,000 baht, but I still stuck with them. And then they saw that no, there was something in this guy, you know. So the lesson there is you need to know where you're from and where you're going to, you know. I was working a full-time job and doing a master's degree at the same time. I was leaving Nakhon Ratchasima and driving to Bangkok every Friday. I will study from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Sunday, and start driving back to Nakhon Ratchasima. Sometimes I get home at 2 a.m., but I have to be at work by 7:30 in the morning, you know, because I knew what I was looking for. I knew where I'm going to. You know, I know where I was heading for. I had a wife, I had a daughter. My kid was very small. I would drop off my kid at daycare, drop off my wife where she works, then I go to school. During break, I leave school, rush to go to the daycare, check if my daughter is okay, rush back to school. After school, I pick up my daughter, pick up my wife, go home, and then I go to do extra classes at a company that I got a very good deal. And these guys actually paid for my master's degree because I got a very, very good deal to teach a bus tour company English for 220 hours. And this money I used to pay my way through my master's degree. So I worked round the clock. I was never at home. I was doing an English camp in Ratchaburi, in Konkan. I was just everywhere, you know, everywhere. That's how hardworking I had to, because to pay for my education, it was very expensive, you know. So you need to know where you're coming from and where you're going to. And you don't need to hurry. Everything takes time. Everything takes time. You don't rush. Don't rush it in life.
Wow. You need to know where you are coming from and where you are going to. Everything takes time. Those are the words of the president of Cameroonians in Thailand. Wow. Now, you being the president and you going all through this, do you think it is high time for Cameroonians to change their mentality about money, 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 and focus on humanity?
Yes. The problem we have with this generation is they are too money minded. Like the other day, I heard a guy turn down a job for 20,000 baht, saying it's too small, and I was like, what is wrong with these people of nowadays? You know, it's not about the money. Money is an aspect of it, but it's not always about the money. It's about your state of mind. You know, it's about your well-being. Okay, it's about your environment, how stable you are, and it's high time. I think we start realizing that if you want to climb the ladders, you need to have the necessary qualifications to be able to climb the ladder, especially in Thailand, you know, especially for those who are teaching English. For example, um, the market is so competitive. You have Filipinos who want to teach English, you have Americans, you have Canadians, you have people from Russia, you have people from Nepal. Everybody want to teach English, but people who teach sciences, they really don't have any competition. So if you want to be steady in the teaching job, especially for English, you need to learn to upgrade yourself. Okay, you need to learn to upgrade yourself. You need to move on. You need to be distinct. Okay, you need to be creative in whatever thing you're doing. Okay, you need to be desired. You need to be wanted. Whenever they look at you, they're like, oh no, that one we cannot touch. We keep him. Be that kind of person. Because to be very frank, that's how I am. I put my value word. When you see my value and my word, you don't even think. You don't even call me. You just take me and you go renew my visa. You don't. I don't even sign a contract. We just keep on renewing my visa because you know the worth of that person and what this person brings to the table. You know. But you need to spend money on yourself to be able to do that. You can't just sit around and you expect that, everything is good. No, things don't
Thank you.
work like that.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Actually, it's difficult for me now to pick questions from the comment section because the message is so inspiring and the questions are too much. So let's go to the comment section, Mr. President, to get
Yes?
a question for you. And this question comes from Mokete Owaba. Should we blame older Cameroonians for their advice or embrace them in the modern days?
Can you repeat that question again?
Yeah, that is depending on the advice some Cameroonians were giving you that if you cut donkey for you for do that, and then the money will be taken for you. So
Yeah.
this led to the question: should we blame older generations for their advice, which is also affecting some of us now, or we should embrace them in modern days?
I would say a bit of both, 50-50, because those people also were wrongly orientated when they got here. So it's like a chain effect, you know. It's like a chain effect. Um, most of those people actually were not as educated as this generation is, you know, and they are to carry some of the blames, because the mentality that they put in, you know, has been drifting throughout the generation that has been coming in. And because of that, and it's our duty to change that. It's our duty to change that. So in as much as they were at fault, I think it's high time we start taking responsibilities and try not to make the same mistakes that these guys did when we came here. We should take it upon ourselves to actually correct and change that mentality and change that mentality. So I would tell Wamba that the world is changing so fast, and people need to be responsible for their action. And those older generation, truth be told, if I want to speak the truth, I think most of them, about 90% of them, have left the kingdom. I find myself in that generation when we came in 2009. Very few, most of them were either deported or have gone on overstay, or just decided to say that Thailand is not for them, and they have just left, things like that. Very, very few of us are still left. And for somebody like myself, I took it upon as a challenge to change the narrative, to change the narrative. And to the best of my knowledge, I've been trying as much as possible to do that, because I saw what it did to people. I saw people who graduated from journalism and mass communication toss away their genuity just because they wanted to fit the narrative, and it brought them a lot of problems, you know. So thank
Wow.
you, Wanda, for that question.
Thank you, the audience and the comment section. Thank you, our guest in the House, President, for the insight. And let's go to our community. How did Anglo-Thai come about, Mr. President?
Anglo-Thai has actually revolved. It has revolved around so many people. The whole initiative started about when this crisis started in Cameroon, and a group of people gathered and decided to see if they can help these IDPs back home. So it was Ambatai. That's how it was at first. And the whole initiative was to stand for freedom and stand to support the people back home, raise funds to send back home. But somewhere along the line, it didn't work out. You know, there were so many controversies. Now, I later came into the picture when this has already been in the making, and then they had finally decided. The guy who was the admin at that time, Frank B, told me about this initiative of bringing Cameroonians together. And he said, you being one of the ones that have been here for a very long time, it would be nice to have you in a community like this so that we can learn from one or two things. So I said, okay, good and fine. If we can bring ourselves together, that would be good. So we had Anglo-Thai, and it had an executive body that was running, you know. But at that point in time, it was still trying to gain grounds. It was still a baby, and there were so many things that were going wrong. There were so many things that were going wrong. Things were crazy. People can remember. It was a forum at that point where it was very chaotic. You know, the executives really had not so much power because somebody can just get up and get angry and just remove the president out of the group, you know, and then somebody will remove another person. If I have an argument with you, you want to argue too much, I just take you out of the group. And then your friends will add you back, and then you will take me out of the group, you know. So it was just chaotic at that point in time, even though we were still doing a lot of things to help Cameroonians, especially like when somebody was picked up and needed money for bail. We will put our heads together, we'll raise this money for bail and try to help this person. When somebody was in detention, we had Brother Kana that will go to the detention center and try to facilitate how this person can go home as quick as possible. So things were being done, but there was a lot of disorderliness, and finally, one day, there was the fall of Anglo-Thai. We wanted to wake up one morning and Anglo-Thai was gone. Because one person, at that point, there was no control. One person could just delete everybody. But you see, a great idea can only be pushed down, but it can never be destroyed because the unity was still there. Before I got up that morning, another person had already created another Anglo-Thai, and people were already being added to it. So I woke up already being added to the new Anglo-Thai, and I was like, wow, I was like, wow. But working with people and thinking about ideas, that's where we finally landed to this platform where we are today, with the help of some Cameroonians who had better ideas, where to some extent there is a lot of control and people are behaving themselves, where you can't just kick somebody out. You can't just come and start insulting somebody. You can't just come and start cursing or start saying vulgar words or insulting people or doing whatsoever. So it has actually transformed from a community without rules to a community where people get to understand now that there are rules kind of set in place, and you have to respect these rules to be a part of this community. And that is where we are at the moment. And I'm really happy that we are there at the moment.
Thank you, Mr. President, for giving us the insight into the present Anglo-Thai now. So, do you think the present Anglo-Thai now has actually brought sanity and some dignities among Cameroonians in the group?
I highly believe so. People are respectable towards each other. And even if people have differences, by the time someone steps in and says, guys, cut this out, They just let go. But in the past, somebody will ask you, who are you? Who are you to tell me what to do? You know, it has brought some level of mutual respect against people, whereby everybody has a voice, everybody has a say, but you cannot impose your idea on others. But you have the right to express your opinion, and you have the right to be heard. But it doesn't mean what you want is what you're going to get, because everybody is from different backgrounds, and you have to learn to understand that people are from diverse backgrounds, and you have to try to work as much as possible to understand everybody in this community. So I believe for now we have a safe space, and in the future it's going to be way much better. I think last time we started with the Game Changers series, which has been very beneficial to so many Cameroonians. You know, getting people to take up their time to present on topics that helps us in our job sites is something that people also gain from being part of this community. And it's something that we plan to continue, because we see that every year of how Thailand works, so that we should avoid some certain things that will get them into trouble.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. President. I was reading a question from still Mukete Owamba, and the same question I was about to ask. And the question goes thus: when we look at the vices or the current situation some of us face here due to poor orientation, document mismanagement, and so on, and a lot of agencies now turn on to collect money rather than saving us, the Cameroonians, in this community where you are the president. So, what is your office and you trying to do to cope this situation?
Well, presently at the moment, there is what we call sensitization. The first things first is to sensitize people about all these vices. I, as an individual, um, 2 days ago, 2 days ago, I slept very late because I got in contact with one of my former colleagues when I used to work at the radio. He works now on CLTV, the national station in Yaoundé. And I told him about what is happening in Thailand. Immediately, he knows that I'm somebody that I don't play. He just told me, how would you like to be a guest on my show tonight at 8 p.m. so that I can give you the platform to talk about this? I spoke on CLTV national station 2 days ago about all these things about of agencies and Cameroonians killing our own Cameroonians. And I was there for 30 minutes. On Sunday, I will be participating on another show on Divine Mercy Radio to sensitize the public about all these things, because it needs to start from home. When you start sensitizing people back home about what is happening here, they get a better idea. So before they come here, they already know that this is how things works. This is how things will be handled. If you have a problem, now at the moment, the executive depends on the conscience of people to be their judge of character. And this is how we have been working, because when a problem is brought up, and we call the parties involved, we try to use human empathy consider this was your sister in this situation. What will you do? And that is how we have resolved so many issues. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I personally went to the Nigerian Consul General in Thailand, and I asked him, Your Excellency, my name is Simon, and at the moment I stand to talk on behalf of the Cameroon community. I explained to him what is happening within our community, how we ourselves are putting our own brothers and sisters into trouble. And I told him that I would like to seek his advice because I want to report this to the authorities. The answer he gave me, he said, my son, that is the last thing you should ever do. Because these guys, they know all these things that are happening, but they are just looking for that one person to open that door. People keep saying every day, go to the authorities, report this guy, report this guy. But the consul general told me that is a rabbit hole you don't want to go under. That's why even within the Nigerian community, they made it very clear that if you have any issue with any Nigerian, bring it to the embassy. Do not go to the immigration, do not go to the police, because this is a rabbit hole you don't want to open. If you open this rabbit hole, trust me, it's going to be very disturbing. So at the moment, we try to count on the goodwill of people, but people push us so hard that one day somebody is just going to snap and it's just going to go to the authorities, and that is going to cause a huge problem amongst us. There are people who say, oh, that people they fit do me waiting. They fit do me waiting. You see, these are the kind of people that we need to root out from our society. And if we are very serious and we stop working with these people, this is going to end. But the thing is, no matter what we say, people still go behind and work with them. I remember a few years ago when the issue of email verification came up, and we said nobody should contact these guys for email verification. The next day, this guy called me and said, Presi, that talk una be talk so una be the waste on time. And he sent me a screenshot of 4 people who were ready to pay that price. So the problem is us, and it's within us. When we say something, some people will still go behind and do it. We say, don't work with these agents. We put out all the names. We put it on the forum. I went to an occasion where I was invited, and I heard people still talking about these same agents. I go send 40K, may do doki for my small sister. So I asked myself, where are we heading to? Then tomorrow, when there's a problem, you come and you want the executive to help you, when they had told you straightforward, do not do business with these people. So at the level, we count on the conscience and the subconscious of everybody to be able to do the right thing. And in so many occasions, we have turned out successful because we have helped so many people. It's not every problem that you can solve. There are some problems that are beyond your capacity because of the depth and the inverse of this problem. But there are some that within the twinkle of an eye, you can put heads together and a solution can be found.
Thank you very much for this. Thank you very much for this explanation and the work you are doing behind. Actually, we of the public can really see it, except we are being told. And now we know the amount of work you are putting as a president, and you don't see. Thank you very much for your services for humanity, and thank you for protecting us. But when we look at this, some of these scrupulous agents, we think because there is no legal backing and so on to take them to the higher authorities or whatsoever. So, do you think your office, if given the chance to go ahead, can prosecute these people?
You see, the first shortcoming we have is that we have no diplomatic ties with the country where we are residing in. So we have no cover. We've tried to get cover from China. China tells us that we are actually mandated under Japan. You talk to Japan, they tell you to go right, to go left, to go right. We have some of these agents, we have taken legal actions, and we get to discover that why these agents are behaving like this is because they know what they are doing. I remember going to the police for a particular agent, and what the police told me was that, oh, we are sorry, this is not under our jurisdiction. You should go to where this person resides. Then I asked myself, but what's the problem with jurisdiction and whatsoever? Oh, no, teacher cannot. This is this one not in my side in my side. And later on I discovered that this particular agent, the father is a high-ranking police officer. That's why they were just telling me that bullshit. So some of these agents, they actually know what they are doing, and they know they are untouchable, even with the Thai law itself. You know, another one, we have gone to the police, and all they said, oh, bualao. That's what they said. They said this particular person. So sometimes I don't even know if using the legal way works, because we've been down that route. And then when you call them, they say, oh, I am Thai now. Thai police cannot do nothing to me. I can make Thai police send you back to Cameroon. So it's a catch-22. It's a catch-22 where you look at both sides of the equation and you discover that you can only find a middle ground. You can find a middle ground, okay? Because there's also that thing of, we know where we are coming from, and we do not want a situation where we will expose. They say, do not wash your dirty linens outside, wash them inside. And we always try to resolve it amongst ourselves and try to tell people to keep away from these agents. But as nature has it, it's not everything that you say that people listen to. But if we had a diplomatic tie, we had legal backings in Thailand, I think we would be in a much better position to solve these issues and trash them very, very easily. But you can understand where we're coming from, where even just to get a letter from the embassy in China takes about a month. Sometimes they don't even reply to you. So how do you channel that?
Thank you, Mr. President, for that. And we still applaud your effort. For sure, this situation will come to rest someday. Let's go back to CamFest 2024. It just passed by some few weeks ago, and we termed it the birth of CamFest. So how did it happen?
CamFest was an idea that started a long time ago. One of my friends called Charlotte Nanga called me one day and said, we should do something. I'm like, what should we do? Right now, she has moved to Canada. She said, we should do something to bring people together. And I was like, what do you mean? Because she was very creative. She had ideas. She had a lot of ideas and so on. So when she said that, she wanted us to invite, like, to have a night where we will rent a huge hall, and then we have space where people can buy little stalls and sell things, and then we do raffle draws from different nationalities, types of food, and so on. And that idea was in her head, and she's like, we could do this, you know. And then she also said we could also do a cultural festival, you know. So from that day on, I kept that thing in my head: cultural festival, cultural festival, cultural festival. This was somehow in 2021. Cultural festival, cultural festival, cultural festival. I brought the idea to the executive. I brought the idea to the executive that let's do a cultural festival. Most of the executives at that time, the way Anglo-Thai was structured, it was as if you ever put a gathering together, people will kill each other because the way people were fighting over the group, people were insulting over the group. One of my executives called me and said, President, you see what the way they go on for groups, so then you want to put people then together. Your head not surely correct. I was like, okay. 2021 passed. I let it go. 2022, I still sat again. And I said, how can we unite Cameroonians in Thailand? They said, let's do an Anglo-Thai come together. I was not okay with that. I knew there would be some problems. When I sat and I see Bon Momo will send me an invitation, I will go to Bon Momo and I see the turnout in Bon Momo. I took down some notes. The Bakosi will send me an invitation. I will go there. I see the turnout. I took down some notes. The Manu, they actually called me to MC their launching. I flew and went to Raw Ed to MC their launching. I saw the turnout and I took note. When I came back, I sat and I saw that the only thing that will unite Cameroonians is culture. Put it under culture. People have a respect for their culture. It should be a cultural aspect. So I went to Anglo-Thai and I said, all all the presidents of every single cultural association should please contact me. It took some time. It took some time. I had to scout again. Some immediately contacted me, and then I threw the idea to them. At that time, it was still shaky. They were like, Mola, you should say, na good idea, but you don't think I'm fine. Don't make until you wait some man go can chakara bottle for some man he head. I created a line group. I invited only the presidents. My main goal first was to get all the presidents on one platform. If you put all the presidents to sea, then you get all their members, because they are the mouthpiece of their members. But then again, along the line, one of the presidents, Mr. Kingsley Obi, called me and said he is proposing to do something, a cultural jamboree that will bring all the cultural groups together. And I told him that I listened to him. He explained his whole idea. Then I told him that, my brother, there's something already in the making, in line with what you are saying. Then he says, then there is no need for him to go. He just needs to get on the bandwagon. I added him to the group. Every day, there are some times where we'll go for months without saying anything. Everybody is just quiet. The group just went dormant for some time. In the back of my head, I'm still thinking. One day, you can ask some of these presidents. I just got up and I just put up a plan, a schedule of activities. But I had a reason why I was doing that. Because when you do that, people will start asking questions. Then it will make the group active. And then people will start asking, but I thought you said we all were going to decide on this, but you have already made the whole thing. And it actually worked, because everybody now got up and started asking questions. I wasn't aware this was going to happen. Then I said, this is called a template. Now we work from this and we make it see how we can adjust it to our needs. At that particular point, all the presidents of the cultural group started realizing that this is something that can be achievable. And then input started coming in. It was originally planned for 2 days. That was the structure that I put. But as we started talking, ideas started coming in. People started joining. Then I said, okay, to be fair, I think every president should bring in their vice president into the platform with their secretary general, so that we can have some women and their views. So most of the groups that were there at that time, they invited their vice presidents and their secretary. So we started getting diverse groups, diverse opportunities. Then we finally came to a conclusion that since as this is the first of its kind, let's try and work on one day, see how it goes. Then next time we can probably do 2 days. So at this point in time, we started doing the underground planning. When people started asking, how is this going to be financed? Is this run by Anglo-Thai? I was like, no. This is not an Anglo-Thai thing. This is something run by the president of different cultural association. It has no links to Anglo-Thai. Anglo-Thai is political. That's how I look at it. But this is culture, and the presidents are the ones who have voices here. Many people were saying, no, 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 no. The executive of Anglo-Thai, I said, these are the presidents of the different cultural associations working together to put up the cultural show. This is not Anglo-Thai. This is culture we're talking about. We should understand the difference. So how are we going to sponsor this? We had to debate on that. But one of the ideas that I proposed, which is what stuck, was that the Bakosi people, they have their meeting, yes, and the Bakosi president said yes. I said, the Bakweri, we have our own meeting. Whenever we hold a meeting, we have our normal levy for food that we have to pay. As easy as that, every traditional group should just prepare their traditional meal. That shouldn't be a problem because it's something they have been doing all this while. And on that day, this traditional meal is going to be the grand soiree. Till today, I don't know how I came up with that idea, but all the presidents were very okay with that idea. And I said, we're just going to get a participation fee. Each member will pay a participation fee, which will be used to take care of other things and the drinks for that day. Because it's very, very simple. Okay, it's very, very simple. Your group can cook their traditional meal, ABC. It's not that difficult. So when we agreed on that, the presidents now have to synthesize their groups. And then I remember going now on the Facebook platform and start asking, if you don't belong to your traditional group, look for your traditional group. To be very frank, in the short space of time, I saw many traditional groups being created within the twinkle of an eye. People will write me, President, I'm from this part of Cameroon, where should I go? I would look for the president and call them and say, you have one new member. I will add them to their group. Just like that, just like that, just like that. Then people started realizing that this thing is not a plaything. By the time we had 7 groups, I started getting calls. Why is my group not represented? I said, put your group together. It is better late than never, until we had a total of 11 groups.
Wow.
All ready to go. And then with the president, the planning committee, we started planning. That's when we knew this was happening. This was happening. And every single president worked so hard to make sure that this thing become a success. And that is how CamFest came to the limelight. We had to sit. We had so many planification meetings. We had meetings for 4 hours at times. We will talk, we will argue, we will come back, we will put this, but at the end of the day, we said CamFest must come to reality. And I want to use this opportunity to thank all the presidents for believing in this dream. And we have made history. At the moment, I have the president of Southwest elites in America calling me and asking me, how did we conceive this idea? He told me in the US, you have a convention of just the Bakosi community from different states coming together, the Bakweri community, the Momo, the Bafo, but they have never had a gathering where all the tribes are together. And he's asking me, how is it? Because somebody was doing it live One sister was live and he watched it and he got in touch with me and he asked me, how was this possible? He said, I even see juju they come out. I told him that little by little. So I made an appointment with him. He will be calling me tomorrow at 8 p.m. Thai time for me to, because he wants to know how and he says he's going to talk to the other presidents. If it's okay with me, let them be present during that talk so that they can also get the ideas and see how they could do something. I also got another message from the UK that such a thing has never been done in the UK before. Is it possible? Do I think they can do it? I said, I only know what we can do in Thailand. You people there, you people should be able to figure out what you people can do. You know, and that is how CamFest. So many people played a part. We had sponsors. You know, people were asking, how are we going to? I said, we have Cameroonians who own businesses and they can sponsor. We send out sponsor letters. You see, one of the first person to respond to our sponsor letter is the logo that we have on the t-shirt that we made for CamFest. Until today, every time he looks at it, he calls me and he says, Presti, you don't know what you have done to me. He said, I go everywhere, I see people wearing that t-shirt, I feel like I want to cry. And we've had now people who have said they never knew this was how this was going to be. And they are very sorry that their support was so small. Next time they are coming. So I asked them, who told you that there's going to be a next time?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for the insight and thank you for CamFest 2024. Despite the success of CamFest 2024, some people or some that were present saw the loopholes of CamFest, and one was mentioned in one of the videos Parent Challengers posted, that why were awards not given to all those presentations, like the dancing, the cultural dishes, and so on.
Yes. Every event is a learning moment. Every event is a learning moment. And CamFest was a success, yes. But the organizing committee were also taking note of the little loopholes. And that in mind, we also spoke about that in our meeting that we had to evaluate how everything passed, to do our checks and balances and so on. It's just the first of its kind, and that is how we learn, and that's how we are going to improve on subsequent editions. But the thing too is our people are slow to respond. You know, when we say we're going to have these activities, let's have participants for these activities. Nobody shows up, nobody sends their name. But on the day of the occasion, surprisingly, everybody was participating in that activity, which we had already counted out. For example, the fashion parade, there was just one name. But on that day, there was fashion parade by every group. But we had been posting this in every group. Send the list of participants for fashion parade. So you see, the people again and how they react also determines the pace of an event. All right. There was a link, for example, because I also saw many people made comments on like prices was not were not given to all the kids that danced. You see, there was a link that was sent out for parents. If you are interested for your kid to be part of the dance, register your kid here. And I personally put the music together. It took me 3 hours on my computer to collect music from 11 traditional groups and bring it down to 8 minutes. Cut it, and put it together and send it. And there were very few parents who responded. And these kids have been practicing with their trainer. And these were the kids that we knew would be present for the dancing, and we prepared the prizes for these kids. But on that day, they were more than, and prizes had already been pre-prepared, and money was dispersed to buy those prizes for those particular kids. So it was another problem again on how well parents respond when you put up an announcement, you know. So these are some of the challenges, because if you were to say your child would participate, of course, their name would be written down and they will get an award for that. We knew we were going to have just this amount of kids, and we prepared awards for them. Then all of a sudden, there were more than 15 kids on the stage, and everybody was like, "Prof, what do we do?" I'm like, I don't have all the answers, you know, but I'm happy something was done for the other kids. Somebody came up with a bright idea with the other kids. So see that next edition. Oh, did I just let the cat out of the bag?
Oh, we come for that. Okay, so before we go to that question, let's go to the comment section. I think there's a question sent by somebody, and I quite forgot to read the question to you. And here's the question. This question was sent by Samson Mabusin. Okay, he wrote, and I read, Mr. President, is it possible that if we all united as Cameroonians in Thailand with the help of Anglo-Thai, can we request for a consulate or an embassy here in Thailand?
You know, funny thing enough, I just answered this particular question this evening before coming to your show. I was invited at a gathering today before coming to your show. I had to leave early because I told them that I have to be on the show. And this very question was asked, President, all these things, so and say we'll people head them together, so we'll get a consulate for you. We'll get a consulate for you. They say Dubai will follow the same process. Why I'm using our local paparazzi is because there's something that I want to say.
Okay. Much fire.
They say Dubai, they use now the same process. And they tell me the process. They say we can go about it. I tell them, say me particularly, I know they mean they ask me, say why? Say, the man, you now which kind of talk you talk so? I say, difference day between Thailand and Dubai. Dubai na skilled labor. Dubai na check doki. Whether you do na your first school or na with you, they no get time. You go work your work. For year, you go prof na prof. And people that do for year where they get Kuba. Now, say they did mend them. They never yet know how for trap we. Then you did talk about putting consulate for here where they feel easily trap we. Plenty of we go back now. Plenty of we go back. I say not just the truth that when I say people then they think and so. But me, I know I put some for some man gagari because now way the user survive a family. So anything about diplomatic, me man who count me the tomorrow may they no go to say now be go start that thing now. Because you know what you go mean say they made they get easy access for check all what docky them.
You go worry.
Huh. It be like say people they know the think. So me I tell them say no, my hand no dey me there. If una wan go, una go be me man no come my name there. Me I know go me there. You see so now the thing that I don't get everywhere I go, people they ask me that question. But I don't think say that they understand the implications if we get that thing for here. You see what the happen for China now. You see an all Koba they don't start to drive the one by one by one. Now so paysan they don't start the run. They don't start the run. China don't bad. You see so me I know they think now about that thing. I did think now about now outside this all my kind of account puzzle, no choice for some man igari. That's not what I'm here to do. So now the answer that I get for that question.
Thank you very much, Kwesi. And I hope your question has been answered, Mr. Sampson. Okay, CD said we don't need a move. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. President, for the answer. And what holds for Camp Fest 2025?
I think my the organizing committee would not be happy with me if I have to let the cat out of the bag. But there is going to be a Camp Fest 2025, but we'll just keep that as a surprise for people.
Because I think many people, maybe many participants, or some new participants, we like to know the location where the festival will take place for them to get prepared 12 months to come.
Yes. That's why I say in the few weeks to come, that location would be disclosed after we've had our meetings, because I think it's fair, to go around the country, so that people would be would also have. I mean, those in Bangkok were happy that they could just grab a taxi and get there, and people flew from the south, people flew from the north, people flew from Isan, so the location would be disclosed very soon. That's the first thing we're working on, and we're working on making it way much better than what we did this year. That's just what it is. I'm going to leave it at that. We would make it way much better.
Thank you, Mr. President. The organizing committee of CAMFEST are going to make CAMFEST 2025 way much better than 2024. I think we have taken much of your time, Mr. President, and we are about to run up. And the last question goes, what can you say about Let's Talk Show?
Well, I mean, I am very happy that we have a platform where we can share ideas and we can get people who are instrumental in our society. And it's something that every time, I watch, I, I watch the Let's Talk show, and I'm very happy to be here. But I still have a question. Let's Talk show, what happened to my prize that I won?
Brazil was the
Now
first winner of
I'm
Let's Talk.
asking you that question. I'm asking you that question now. Where is my prize?
Wesley,
Ah,
actually, your prize was supposed to be with you before now, and there is a technical issue. I've been trying to resolve it, but you will still get your prize, Wesley.
I love the idea of the Let's Talk show, and I support it 100%. I like what you're doing, and I wish you to continue to do what you're doing. Um, it keeps the community entertained, you know. It gives us idea, and the people that you bring on also share their knowledge about what they have faced in life, what they have gone through in Thailand. And these are life lessons that we draw from every day. And I'm very, very happy that you took it upon yourself, to be able to come up with this idea. And I'm hoping to see something much better next year than what I see now. That's it.
Thank you
That's it.
very
I'm,
much.
as you put it, foreign challenges. That's the challenge I am giving you. I'm
Thank you
challenging
very much,
you
Mr. President. We are
openly now.
working on the every aspect to make Let's Talk Show better and to make Foreign Challengers the best communication platform here in Thailand. We'll get there soon.
I'm very
All
happy to
right.
hear
A word
that.
of advice to your people, Mr. President.
My advice to my people: life is very simple. We shouldn't make it complicated. Um, I was talking to someone earlier today, and I told her that you are in Thailand. Don't just keep yourself in a box. You know, enjoy life. And I also made a video the other day saying that life is very short, and life doesn't choose who it keeps and who it takes. You never know what's around the corner. So do what you gotta do, and do it now. You know, there are things that this is something I want to tell Cameron, all my brothers and sisters watching there. Um, when we look at the Western people, you see they have a way of looking at life, and it's embracing every single moment. You know, when you see them going on trips, you think that they are rich. No, it's not about being rich. It's just that they plan for it. And it's very necessary for your well-being. It's very necessary for yourself as a whole. You you are here during the holidays. You can plan. It it's just 4,000 baht for a round trip to Malaysia and back. The visa is just 100 baht. That's That's how much it costs to pay for a Malaysian visa. You go and see the Twin Towers. You visit Kuala Lumpur. You enjoy the lifestyle. You make 3 or 4 days there. You get a sound state of mind. You know, you fulfill your dreams. You fulfill all the work that you've worked during the year. You need that time off. Somebody is in the south. You can fly to the north in Chiang Mai just to visit a new environment. It's not that expensive. Because you see, this is what I say. We have been programmed in Cameroon, especially. We have been programmed in such a way that it's very difficult to erase that program. All you know is you need to work and send money back home. Work and send money back home. Work and send money back home. You have no time for yourself. You are the one working the money. We need to erase that program from our brain. We need to erase that program. You also need time for your physical self and your well-being. To fly to Bali, a round trip is 7,000 baht. You just need a letter from your school. You have some money in your account. You take a trip to Bali. You sit by the beach for 2 days. And this is one thing I tell people, don't rent hotels. Do Airbnb. That's what I do. Every trip I make, I use that Airbnb. Very cheap. You know, in a hotel, when you are 3 of you, they say, oh, you have to pay for this one extra per person for an extra bed. An Airbnb, you rent a condo. They don't care if it's 12 persons going in there. You just pay for the night, and that's it. You want to go to Bali, you rent your Airbnb. You sit comfortably. You rest, you relax. You are not under stress. At a hotel, they tell you lunch is at this time. But when you are at an Airbnb, you can even go to a local shop, come and make some food for yourself, and you eat. You relax, you enjoy yourself. So my people, to everybody watching out there, take time out and give yourself a treat. The life is so short. You don't know what's going to happen next. You see me today, you might not see me tomorrow. And please stop that mentality. Say, no, I don't want to keep my money for go enjoy for Cameroon. Your bones, they don't hold all. You want to go enjoy now waiting. You die there, they start fight over your money. This is the life that you are living now. Live your life now. Wherever you are, make it your home. Make it your home and live your best life. Whatever happens, you know that at least I lived, you know. So that's my advice to everybody out there. Live your life.
Wow. We have come to the end of Let's Talk Show for today. Thank you, Mr. President, for the inspirational words. Thank you for the questions answered, and thank you for taking us through the memory lane right up to today. And we hope to see you on Let's Talk Show some other time in the future.
It will be my pleasure to be here some other time again. Whenever your doors are open, you knock, I will answer.
Thank you very much. And as we say in Thai, Sawadee Krap.
Sawadi krap, sawadi krap, sawadi krapนะครับ
Bye.
หลับฝันดีนะครับ
Okay.
นะครับ
All right. Thank you, audience in the building, and thank you, everyone. On our Let's Talk show for next week, we are going to have. Should I release the card from the back? Okay, you are going to see it on the flyers on Wednesday. See you. And if I didn't ask your questions, please, the questions were so many, the comments were so many, and some people were complaining about network. I don't know. On my part, the network was 100% true, but we are going to build Let's Talk show, and we are going to make it better and a better place for every one of us to enjoy and have a good time. At this point, we say goodbye and see you again next week. Bye-bye.